there's rich. And then there's we have an underground vault of secrets. Rich. Tonight we're diving into the quiet whispers behind the royal wave. Here are the top 10 darkest royal family conspiracies. Let's open up the files. You ever heard of the Black Spider memos? These were a series of handwritten letters penned by none other than Prince Charles to top British government officials. They're called Black Spider because of his spiky handwriting. But what's inside is way more unsettling than messy penmanship. For years, these letters were locked away, protected under a doctrine of royal confidentiality. But after a decade-long legal battle, they were partially released. And they hinted at Charles meddling in political affairs that royals are supposed to stay far, far away from. We're talking pushes on health policy, the military, and even environmental issues, many suspect trying to privately steer legislation while remaining untouchable. Critics say these letters blur the line between figurehead and shadow influencer, and even then many of the letters remain unreleased. So what else was in there? And if this was just what slipped through, what really goes on in those palace hallways? 2 royal relatives, never spoken of, hidden from the public until well after their deaths. Nerissa and Catherine Bowes-Lyon were first cousins to Queen Elizabeth II, both born with developmental conditions. Instead of support or holiday cards, they were institutionalised in a mental hospital and erased. Their deaths weren't properly recorded. In fact, their existence was left out of Burke's peerage, the genealogical Bible of the British aristocracy. For decades, the family said they'd died young. They hadn't. They were alive and tucked away while the royals waved from balconies. Their story hit the press in 1987, and the outrage was swift. But what still lingers is why. Was this done to protect royal purity? Avoid shame? And if 2 women can be hidden for decades, how many others were quietly removed from history? Prince Andrew's headline-making friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is old news now. But behind the tabloid frenzy, there's an even darker theory dubbed Operation Spotlight. Insiders allege that Prince Andrew's ties weren't an isolated scandal, but rather the tip of a tightly locked intelligence interaction involving multiple royals and elites. Whispers of blackmail, sealed court documents, and MI5 running damage control have fueled speculation that Epstein's web might have overlapped with more powerful figures than anyone suspected. While the palace has tried to distance itself, the prince's legal entanglements and sudden retirements left more questions than answers. What was buried to protect the crown? And how much of Andrew's silence was strategic dictation, not personal choice? Princess Margaret, the Queen's sister, lived a very different royal life. She smoked, drank, and didn't exactly toe the crown line. But when she died in 2002, some believe her passing wasn't just age or illness. There's a theory that the royal family hastened her end. She suffered multiple strokes and lost vision, yet was reportedly denied certain treatments. No full explanation was ever given. Some claim her closeness to sensitive secrets, or perhaps an autobiography no one wanted released, made her a hazard to tradition. Could she have gone public with details about forbidden romances or royal cover-ups? A few insiders have hinted she was silenced, not just mourned. The death of Princess Diana has haunted the world for decades. The official story? A car crash fueled by paparazzi pursuit and a reckless driver. But dashcam reviews, witness testimonies, and even an inquest jury lean towards something else. Many claim the car was being followed by a mysterious black vehicle that's never been identified. CCTV footage from surrounding tunnels mysteriously missing. On top of that, Diana reportedly wrote a letter months before her death that predicted her car would be sabotaged. Some say the crown couldn't handle a future stepfather in the form of a Muslim Egyptian billionaire, or her increasing political activism. Whatever the truth is, it likely didn't die in that tunnel. Lord Louis Mountbatten, a mentor to Prince Charles, a war hero, and possibly more. At the time of his assassination by the IRA in 1979, Mountbatten was deeply enmeshed in British intelligence operations. But years later, documents indicated his name showed up in deeply redacted files tied to Cold War intelligence intricacies and even early formation of Project Monarch, an alleged mind control program that conspiracy theorists claim was US and UK funded. Despite being blown up on his fishing boat, not all believed it was just the IRA. Some have whispered that he was silenced before he could leak Cold War secrets, or worse, misaligned royal opinions. A boat explosion made it all look tidy. Prince George, Duke of Kent, not to be confused with the baby George, died in a mysterious plane crash in 1942. He was the only member of the royal family to die during military service in the 20th century, and it just doesn't add up. His plane crashed shortly after takeoff in Scotland, but what troubled investigators was who else was on board. Some evidence suggests a few unnamed intelligence agents were present, and maps found in the wreckage suggested they weren't heading to their official destination. Theories range from secret Nazi dealings to strikes against royal sympathisers, and even failed peace negotiations gone rogue. The whole event was buried suspiciously fast, and reports sealed. Why? Because sometimes dead royals tell no tales. In April 2021, Queen Elizabeth II was scheduled to give a widely publicised speech, one that had global eyes. But something very strange happened. It was delayed twice. Palace insiders cited personal adjustments and script modifications, but something about it felt off. Later that week, encrypted communications from 3 UK defence satellites showed anomalies during the exact minutes she was supposed to speak, data that's never been publicly clarified. Some think secure systems were hijacked, or that emergency intel was rushed to the Queen moments before she went on air. Theories range from alien contact, yes really, to confirmation of biological threats. The delay? It wasn't about microphones, it was about message control. This isn't your typical internet rabbit hole. Over the years, photos and documents emerged showing members of the royal family, particularly Edward the Faithful, sympathetic to Nazi Germany. While Edward's affection for Hitler is somewhat known, lesser discussed are pictures of secret meetings, handshakes and quiet discussions that took place while Britain was at war. A leaked German intelligence file even suggested England was entertaining a backup plan to restore Edward as king, if Germany had won. The palace has never addressed these in any real way, of course, but those wartime alliances, they may have been far murkier than our history books show. Prince Albert, consort to Queen Victoria, was said to have died of typhoid in 1861. Clean cut, simple, except not. Some historians have recently dug into foreign correspondences from court physicians that don't align with typhoid symptoms at all. There's mounting speculation that Albert faked his death and fled England after political disagreements with Victoria became unsalvageable. Why? Because in 1862, a man bearing his exact likeness was recorded travelling incognito in the Rhineland under an alias. The most damning clue. Every known image of Albert, after age 38, was suspiciously lost in a fire. You can't fake a grave visit, they say. But what if the body's wrong entirely? That was your dose of the unknown. If your jaw's still on the floor, hit like and subscribe. We drop eerie new files every weeknight. Thanks for being here, truly. Stay curious, stay weird, and if you're in the UK, maybe peek behind the curtain. See you in the next file. Subscribe for more of the unknown.